Hello, on this edition of Commuter Connections, we'll introduce you to the exciting improvements underway at Camden Station in Baltimore. We've also got a look at locally operated transit systems around the state. MTA has a successful driver improvement program for its employees. We'll show you. There's a new MTA Bus Rodeo champion, and we'll look at a sister agency's efforts to keep our environment clean. All here on this edition of Commuter Connections. MARC train and light rail link riders have certainly noticed the construction at Baltimore's Camden Station, where a multi-million-dollar station construction improvement project is underway. MARC Rail Chief Transportation Officer Dave Johnson joins us with more on the Camden Station project. Hi Dave, welcome to Commuter Connections.
Thanks for having me, Sandy.
So what sparked the need for the Camden Station redevelopment project?
The current structure at Camden Station is approximately 25 years old and was actually built as a temporary facility. It's really not meeting the needs of our customers. The new station will provide improved amenities and better waiting areas for our customers.
So how will the Camden Station redevelopment project actually improve service for MTA customers traveling to and from the station?
It will improve service in many ways. First and foremost, we will have a larger waiting area with more seating capacity, up to 36 passengers. We'll also have brand new restroom facilities, as well as improved wayfinding signage to access the local community, trails, and other landmarks in downtown Baltimore. It'll be a lot easier and a lot clearer how to get to where you need to go.
So when did construction actually begin, and how long is it expected to take?
Construction began on October 4th and is expected to run through July of 2019. The vast majority of the work will be done in time for the beginning of baseball season in April, with some work continuing on through May and June, and a grand opening targeted for July.
And during the construction period, what do you see being the impact to customers that are traveling in that area?
Well, there's two major impacts. First of all, for light rail customers, the Camden Yards Light Rail Station is closed during the construction project. Passengers can use the Convention Center or Hamburg Street stations. Light rail trains are passing through without stopping. The entire line is still open for service. The impact for MARC train customers is that pedestrian access will be limited. There will not be an indoor waiting area or restrooms during the renovation, and the ticket machine has been relocated outside along Lee Street. There will be bike racks for customers to park their bikes during while they travel on MARC train, and there will be informational signage and wayfinding signage to guide you to and from the platforms.
So roughly how many MARC riders use Camden Station daily?
About 350 passengers use Camden Station every day. That number can increase during Orioles games, of course. But it's also important to note that the station is a real hallmark location for MTA in downtown Baltimore. A lot of passengers, potential passengers, come to the station looking for information on all different MTA modes, especially given the proximity to Camden Yards, the Convention Center, and multiple hotels. So one of the benefits of this new facility is we'll have more room for informational displays, how to use MARC train, how to use local link bus, how to use light rail link, MTA commuter bus as well. And it will be overall really enhance the visibility of MTA in downtown Baltimore.
Is this the first time that the station has undergone a major renovation like this, or has there been, work done previously?
The most recent major work done was the construction of the existing station in the early 90s when Camden Yards opened.
Okay.
Prior to that, trains served the historic Camden Station building, which is just behind the current building where the Sports Hall of Fame is now. There was a light renovation done around 2010 to expand the passenger waiting area, but there has been no major work done at the Camden Yards site since the early 90s.
And how much is this costing?
Okay, the project cost approximately $7.2 million. That's in total, both design, engineering work, and the actual construction work itself.
And once everything is all done, what will commuters and travelers, actually see at Camden Station?
Well, you're going to see a modern facility, very welcoming, having all the latest technology, especially in terms of lighting, LED lighting, meeting EPA green building guidelines, and we'll also have, again, new restrooms, and just an overall more pleasant place to wait for your train and to get information about all the different MTA modes of travel.
Now, with a project like this, how important is it to Baltimore and the region?
As I mentioned, Camden Station is a real gateway for downtown Baltimore, gateway for MTA information. People coming over from the Convention Center and hotels looking to get more information about MARC Train and MTA in general. So this project is very important. It also really puts a positive face on the MTA in downtown Baltimore.
Dave, thanks so much for coming on and sharing all the good news about Camden Station. We certainly look forward to seeing all the new station improvements next year.
Thank you for having me, Sandy.
Up next, a look at locally operated transit systems around the state. That's next. Stay with us. The MDOT MTA mission is to provide safe, efficient, reliable transit with world-class customer service. Not just in the Baltimore area with our MDOT MTA core service modes, but throughout the state. In fact, there's a division within the agency which has the responsibility of helping locally operated transit systems meet the needs of transit riders in their regions. It's referred to as LOTS, or Locally Operated Transit Systems. And the Deputy Director of LOTS, Jeannie Fazio, joins us with a look at this important mission. Hi, Jeannie. Welcome. It's nice to have you on the show.
Hi, Sandy. Thank you.
So for those who may not know, what are locally operated transit systems, or LOTS?
Well, each county in the state of Maryland runs a public transit system, and that we refer to them as LOTS. These systems receive federal and state funding through our office.
So what is the mission of MDOT MTA's LOTS division?
Our office, which is the Office of Local Transit Support, officially, we provide the funding, the compliance oversight, the technical assistance, training, and that type of thing for the LOTS. The office also provides the same type of assistance for the more than 60 private, nonprofit human service agencies throughout the state.
Oh, okay. Sounds like a big job.
So it's a big job.
And roughly how many employees at MDOT MTA actually work on LOTS initiatives?
Well, in the Office of Local Transit Support, there are 11 employees, and there are 5 regional planners that handle the LOTS, and then there are employees that handle the financial and the grant management, and we work very closely with capital programming also.
Now tell me, how long has MDOT MTA actually been focused on locally operated transit systems?
MTA has been providing funding since 1978, providing funding to the locally operated transit systems. The Office of Local Transit System has really been official since about 2008, and they created the office because MTA realized that they needed an office to handle all of these responsibilities for the locals.
Just how many locally operated transit systems exist throughout the state?
There are 22 lots. There are two lots that encompass a few of the counties, like Shore Transit actually provides service for Somerset, Wacomico, and Worcester County, as Delmarva Community Transit provides services for Dorchester, Caroline, Kent, and Talbot counties.
Oh, okay.
So some of them combine their service, but the rest are for each county. Baltimore City has their own, and the city of Annapolis has their own system.
Okay, and I was going to ask you, how far geographically does MDOT MTA reach as far as its LOTS program?
It's across the state.
Okay.
The entire state of Maryland.
Could you give our viewers an idea of a locally operated transit system that they may have seen or come across in their travels?
I would imagine that many people have noticed the beautiful buses that are painted in the Maryland colors, and they have RTA written across them. That is actually the Howard County system that is run by Howard County. Ocean City has their system, which is basically the bus that runs up and down Coastal Highway. And that system provides more than 2 million rides between the months of June and September each year. And that is actually one of the biggest systems in the state.
Oh, wow. I can imagine, too, with all the people that flock to Ocean City
Yes.
when the weather gets warm.
And that system is, run, that's practically a 24/7 operation during those months.
So on average, how much assistance does MDOT MTA actually provide these local transit systems?
Annually, we provide in operating funding over $90 million a year, and that's federal and state dollars. Capital, we provide over $26 million a year, and the locals also provide matching funds, and they provide over $36 million a year.
So it sounds like the partnership that you have has been one that's existed a while. How important would you say that partnership is when you're looking at MDOT MTA and the locally operated transit systems?
So important. And I don't know if everyone really knows about it and how important it is. I mean, you see the MTA buses, and the MTA provides service all across the Baltimore area. But these locally operated transit systems, move the local citizens in the rural areas that MTA really can't get to. So we work with them very closely, and we all want to provide the same thing, which is transit for the citizens of Maryland. Right. So we really have a very good partnership.
And how have people responded to LOTS?
They are very appreciative. They know how important it is, and they are very supportive of LOTS and the funding. And sad to say, funding seems to always be something that we're always working to get more of, and the citizens are always there to help us.
Jeannie, this has been a lot of good information. Thanks so much for joining us today.
You are very welcome. Thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome. Up next, a look at a successful MDOT MTA driver improvement program for employees that's making a difference in safety and safety awareness. That's just ahead. Safety remains a top priority in the operation of MDOT MTA bus and train services. But the focus on vehicle safety goes beyond revenue-based transit service. It extends to the safe operation of non-revenue vehicles as well, through the agency's DIP, or Driver Improvement Program. Marvin Mason, the program's coordinator, joins us with more on this. Hi Marvin, welcome to Commuter Connections.
Welcome, thank you.
So tell us, what is the Driver Improvement Program?
Well, the Driver Improvement Program is made up of 3 areas, I put it, to make it all in one, to break it down a little bit. One part is to make sure that all state employees drive safely and defensively and look out for offensive behavior or bad drivers. And one of the things they look for is like for road rage, aggressive drivers, tailgaters, illegal lane changes, things of that nature. The other part is procedures, policy procedures, and how to operate a state vehicle and maintain a state vehicle. So that's dealing with accident reporting, report accident properly, and also in dealing with the vehicle, doing vehicle inspection, make sure the brakes work, the lights work, windshield wipers, make sure the vehicle is filled with gas. Also, dealing with tires, make sure tire safety, make sure it doesn't have bad tires, the wheels falling off. The third part is dealing with road conditions, like the weather conditions, rain, snow, how to drive in the rain and snow, ice conditions, fog, and those things. So all together, when you put it together, including like work zone areas as well, all that together make up the whole DIP program.
So what's the purpose or goal of the class overall?
Is to make sure that all state employees drive safely and be out of harm's way.
Now, is the instruction mandatory?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It's mandatory for all state employees that must attend the training.
I know you covered some of it. What are some of the key topics that are covered in the course?
We haven't covered portions like fatigue awareness. We cover alcohol and drugs. We cover backing collisions. We cover how to be what is a defensive driver. And we cover off-road conditions, if you off-road and driving night vision.
Are any others required to take the course?
Pretty much all state employees have to take it, and the ones who has a driver's license and has potential to drive a state vehicle must take it.
Okay.
So even though you're in an area that you say, I don't need to drive a state vehicle because it's not part of my job, but there's a point that you may use that person to deliver office information supplies to another location, and that person had to drive a state vehicle, then it falls on it.
And where do you normally hold the classes?
Based MTA wide, almost has do the training, but at MTA, we have it in Office of Training Development. We have it at 6 St. Paul, at Northwest location, at Bush, Washington Boulevard location. Even we also have it at Police Training Facility.
So people have several options where they can.
And different shifts as well.
And how often are the classes offered?
Pretty much we have it set up at least twice a month.
Okay, so someone can always sign
up.
up.
We can sign up, and also we have online training as well.
Now, how long has the DIP program existed?
I said in the late 80s. In the late 80s when it started out. And then it picked up from there.
And roughly how many employees would you say take the class annually?
It varies from year to year. Some people are hired, people for refresher training. I can give you something maybe like 300, 370, 380 people. But it can vary, it can be higher, it can be a little bit lower.
And would you say that for those who have taken it, that it's really made a difference, or can you describe how it's probably improved being on the road in a state vehicle?
Yes, it has. I have a lot of positive feedbacks on this. They enjoy it. They ask me for information they can take for the kids starting driving. And say, ideas, Marvin? I said, yes. I give them some literature on that. And also, it was one situation I have to, since you brought it up, that happens 3 times so far since I've been instructing DIP, that a state employee came to me and said that it actually saved their lives. And I said, yes, what do you mean? And what happened is that there was an incident happened in Harford County, and a car was coming on the other side of the road, so it's oncoming traffic. And we teach that in DIP. Mm-hmm. And what to do, procedures actually, you bring your car far to the right, you slow down, bring it to a stop, you flag the other driver you can. And he said he did that, and the car came across, still come across, and hit the car on the side and bounced back on the other side of the road. And he said that it actually saved his family instead of having a hit-on collision. Mm-hmm. He brought the car over, and that's one of the procedures that we teach in DIP. You bring your car to the right, slow down, and bring it to a stop.
Wow, that was very helpful.
Yes, yeah. And that was, felt
helpful.
Good that he got something out of it, mm-hmm. And not only it saved his family, but also it can save a life if you drive a state vehicle. So basically, DIP goes both ways. Mm-hmm. You can use it for driving a state vehicle. Also, it helps you be a safe driver and driving your own personal vehicle.
And it sounds like the response has been great to it.
Yes.
People are really getting value out of taking the course.
Certainly.
Great. Well, Marvin, thank you so much. It sounds like, we really appreciate you coming in, just filling us in on how the state of Maryland is keeping people safe on the roads. It sounds like you have a big job ahead, keeping people trained on how to be safe.
Yes, it does.
Okay, well, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
The annual MTA Bus Rodeo competition, which was recently held in Baltimore, produced a skilled rodeo champion for 2018. Commuter Connections was there for all the fun and competition this special day provided.
On a sunny Saturday in September, the best of the very best MTA bus operators and maintenance personnel gathered to compete in the 2018 Bus Rodeo and Maintenance Competition. Last year's winner, Leslie Hawkins, was looking to defend her crown against newcomers like Isaiah Williams.
Miss Leslie, who was the champion of last year, and her husband, Mike, they gave me some pointers. I just watched and say, all right, stop your bus right here, you position it like this. So, of course, definitely.
The competition includes a uniform check, a pre-trip inspection, and the main obstacle course. New this year was the Customer Service Challenge.
I competed in the first year Customer Service Challenge, which was a wonderful idea. It gave us real life scenarios about things that went on the bus and how you would react to the situation. I came in as one of the finalists after 2 days competition, and Thursday went on real life scenarios on the bus.
Administrator Kevin Quinn took to the wheel to test his skills against the course. Bragging rights were also on the line with a little friendly competition with COO Sean Adgerson.
Well, I'm stoked, right? I'm stoked because, I know I can beat Kevin doing this. I'm a little bit closer to it. So I think that my driving skills are going to show out, and hopefully I come out victorious. And then I have bragging rights for the next year on who can operate a bus better.
clearly I'm going to win.
Awesome.
And, you know, I feel bad for Sean. I don't want him crying later on tonight about how he lost, but I'm pretty sure I got a good chance.
When the awards were handed out, first-year driver Isaiah Williams proved he was up to the challenge.
I won the Rookie of the Year for the rodeo. I've been with MTA for a total of 7 months. My secret is being humble and paying attention.
On the veteran side, third place went to Trina Skinner out of Northwest Division. Second place winner, also out of Northwest, was Michael Hawkins.
This is it, moment of truth. Who was the best? Who was the best? And that first place person is out of Northwest, Benny Williams. Badge 524.
Feel good to win the rodeo once again, to represent MTA in Maryland. I took a little family leave off, had to come back and represent for my company.
And how about that friendly competition between the administrator and chief operating officer?
We don't have to talk about that. That's okay. We don't have to talk about that.
We're going to spend a whole segment talking about that.
So here's the thing. So Sean won. When all came down to it, when the points were all tallied up,
I just had a few more.
He bested me.
Congratulations to maintenance team winner Cross Threads, represented by Fred Clark, John Francis, and Doug Reed. And to Michael Hawkins, the Customer Service Challenge winner. As for 2018 MTA Rodeo champion Benny Williams, he's now off to Louisville, Kentucky to compete and represent the agency in the International Rodeo Competition.
Coming up next, a look at what our sister agency, MPA, the Maryland Port Administration, is doing to help keep our environment clean. Stay with us. MTA is doing its part to help keep our air clean with environmentally friendly hybrid buses in our fleet. Our sister agency, MPA, is also doing its part to keep the environment clean with a special program effort underway there. Barbara McMahon, General Manager of Safety, Environment, and Risk Management at the Maryland Port Administration, joins us with more on their efforts. Hi, Barbara. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
So tell us, what is the Maryland Port Administration and what do you do there?
The Maryland Port Administration is an agency within the Maryland Department of Transportation. Our role is to manage and oversee the publicly owned terminals at the Port of Baltimore.
Now, why is MPA interested in keeping the environment, our air, clean?
The overall mission of the Port Administration is to increase the flow of waterborne cargo in and out of the Port of Baltimore. And we recognize that to do that, we have to make sure that we are protecting the health and the quality of life of our citizens and the environment. So we feel those two go hand in hand. They are not mutually exclusive. So we are committed to growing the port, and while growing the port, protecting our environment and our people.
So with your Clean Air Initiative, how did it get started?
Well, if you think about activities on a marine terminal, a lot of the activities require movement of cargo, both in and out of the terminals and around the terminals. The equipment and the trucks that are used are all diesel powered, and diesel emissions have the potential to have an impact on the health of our citizens, in particular children and the elderly. Knowing this, we made the decision that we were going to institute programs to reduce that potential.
So is this effort part of a larger federal program or national port initiative?
Actually, it is. The Environmental Protection Agency a few years ago announced the National Port Initiative. And the focus of the National Port Initiative is to ensure that port activities are evaluated and that we take steps to reduce air emissions so that there isn't an adverse impact on the communities that are near or adjacent to marine terminals.
So explain to us exactly how MPA is helping to make clean air possible.
We have, over the past probably decade or more, implemented several programs, but there's a couple that I would like to focus on. There's one called the Dray Truck Replacement Program. Dray trucks are generally older trucks that are over-the-road trucks that are now used to carry cargo from the docks to rail to warehouses to distribution centers, and they come in and out of the terminal several times a day. Most dray trucks, not all, but most dray trucks are owner-operator. That means the owner owns them, operates them, and maintains them. So this is how they essentially, support their family. So we want to make sure they have a dependable truck. So we have used funds from the Environmental Protection Agency to incentivize them to replace these older trucks with newer trucks. The newer trucks have to be post-2010 model year, and that's to ensure that the pollutants have been reduced, and that model year reduced them by at least 90%. So they have cleaner trucks, more dependable trucks. So that's one program that has been very successful. To date, we've replaced about 180 trucks. We're also doing something similar with what we call cargo handling equipment. That would be cranes, big forklifts, top loaders. So we are also incentivizing the owners of that equipment to replace it with newer, cleaner burning equipment.
It's wonderful. It sounds like you really are making some improvements.
Yeah, we are making progress. Thank you.
Definitely. So now, what has been MDOT MPA's contribution to the success of air quality in the Dundalk Marine Terminal area, and how do you go about measuring that?
I think the best metric to evaluate our success is to look at our emissions inventories. We perform emission inventories every 4 years on the state-owned terminals. So we have one from 2016, and we compared it to 2012. We will do another one in 2020. And what that emissions inventory showed us, that we increased cargo by about 10%, cargo tonnage by 10%, while reducing emissions about 19% per ton of cargo moved. So we think that's a pretty effective metric to say that we're on the right track. We still have a long way to go, but we're on that track.
You're making significant progress. And with the clean air being part of your mission, keeping air clean, kind of describe for us, the overall MDOT MPA agency mission for those who may not know.
Again, the mission for the Port Administration is to grow the port. We use the term to increase the flow of waterborne cargo in and out of the port. But bottom line is, it is a job creator. It does generate a lot of revenue for the state. So that is our mission. But when you think about that mission, you have to make sure that you are not impacting the communities or the people that live in the area. And we work closely with our communities. We engage with them and other stakeholders. We want to hear what they have to say. We want to make sure what we're doing has a positive impact on their lives.
And how large is the Port of Baltimore?
The Port of Baltimore, again, is made up of 35 plus terminals and is a very diverse port. When you compare us to other ports in the United States, we're number one in the handling of automobiles and light trucks. We're number one in a cargo called RO-RO, roll-on, roll-off. That's mostly construction and farm equipment, number one. Our container business is growing rapidly. We are number one in imported sugar, number two in exported coal. Overall, we rank 9th in the total value of our cargo and 12th in the total tonnage. Now again, we're comparing to ports on the East Coast, the West Coast, the Gulf Coast. So you live where there's a very important port in the United States. So I want you to know that.
Very good, impressive stats.
Yes, very impressive. Thank you.
Definitely, and I don't think people realize all that goes on there.
Yes, yes.
So this is good. And is the community part of your effort?
Yes, we want to be a good neighbor. That's one of our goals, and we do engage with communities and other stakeholders to ensure that we're listening to what their concerns are. We involve them in the process of coming up with solutions to those issues. So yeah, we think we have a good relationship with our neighbors.
Well, Barbara, I really appreciate you coming on and talking with us, and good luck with the Clean Air Initiative.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure to be here today.
Thank you. That brings us to the end of another edition of Commuter Connections. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.